Oh, snap.
And your boy Curtis Jackson is not here for the violence in Chicago.
Holy
So
smokes.
Curtis Jackson is not okay with the escalation of violence recently in Chicago. He feels like it ain't gangster and it needs to stop. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. So he put this out, this little cheeky thing on the internet. Um, I'm telling you, man, we need to do a series on
Wrong messenger.
right.
Yeah.
We need to do a series on right message, wrong messenger. We need to just do a
Mm.
series on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, 50 Cent has become disenchanted with what's going on in Chicago. So interesting topic here to kick around on the channel. This says 50 Cent deems recent rash of Chicago shootings not gangster. 50 Cent was disturbed by reports of more than 24 victims getting shot in Chicago over the first weekend of May. Chicago shootings caught the attention of 50 Cent on Monday. The G Unit rapper called for a stop to the violence after reading reports of 31 shootings in the Windy City over the weekend. Come on now, this got to stop, 50 Cent wrote. This ain't gangster. This is just crazy. According to the Chicago Police Department, at least 31 people were shot in 24 separate shootings spanning from 6 p.m. on Friday, May 3rd to 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, May 5th. 7 victims were killed per Chicago's ABC and PBS affiliates. One shooting involved a liquor store clerk. Two armed men entered the store and declared their intent to rob around 10:30 p.m. on Friday. A 45-year-old employee exchanged gunfire with the attempted robbers who fled the scene. The clerk suffered a gunshot wound to his left arm. Around 10:45 p.m. that same day, two more men suffered gunshot wounds to their arms. Someone in a white sedan shot a 21-year-old man and a 38-year-old man while they were walking on a sidewalk. So this is just a rundown of all the craziness that's been going down
Wow.
up there in Chicago, where they call the Windy City. But yeah, 50 Cent feels like it needs to stop, man. He says it's kind of crazy. Um, I mean, I guess we agree with what he is saying, but do you have an issue with the fact that he's the one saying this?
Yeah, I do for sure. And I kind of get an angle of this to kind of agree with him, in the sense that it's not gangster. Gangsters don't move like that. Gangsters aren't sloppy moving around killing people. Um, Gangsters are organized. Gang is more of an organized crime kind of thing. These just seem like random acts of foolishness, which is crazy. It's kind of crazy. So I can see that angle. But one thing that most people is kind of like the Cardi B situation, where you're just looking at the optics. When you're the G unit, and you're always talking about shoot 'em up, bang bang, and TV shows glorifying coke sales and doing crime. You would assume that you would you know you would assume where this behavior kind of comes from. Now, are they directly listening to you? Perhaps not. Watching your stuff? Perhaps not. But it's being pumped into the pool, though. Just imagine a pool with the right alkaline levels when you put your little bleach thing in there, you know, and it's just running fine. Then you get sludge called, you know, whatever, raisin sludge, and then it's dropped in the pool. It may not contaminate, like, it may not ruin the pool, but the pool is contaminated now. I'm not jumping in there. I gotta wait till that gets cleaned out. And when you're constantly putting sludge in the community, sir, it may not be the person who thinks that they're gangster that does the gangster dumb act. It's the victim that lives in that area. He watches it, not me. And then there's innocent people getting shot, getting killed because they watch too much shoot 'em up, bang bang, and they think it's a part of their culture. They think they have to behave that way. And they see things all the time and they hear things all the time that reinforce that. So on the optics, people are gonna say gangster means that you out here banging, like you out here and you for real about your set. I took it to the side of, real gangsters move in silence, and they get things done on an organized front. But on the petty scale level, yeah, this is gangster. If to be thugging and ready to shoot and kill at whatever, rob, see people, whatever. And they get that mentality from somewhere, man. So I can see if 50 was putting more chlorine in this pool, but he's only adding leaves and sludge. So somebody's gonna have to come scoop this stuff out. And I just took a piece out. So what are your thoughts on this one? Do you feel like Sir 50's got a point here that this ain't gangster, this is just crazy?
Once again, I agree with the sentiment, but him saying it to me is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Get Rich or Die Trying, he had the song on there, Heat. The whole song is about him running up on people and shooting them.
That's right.
The drama really seems nothing to me. I'll ride by and blow your brains out. Pow! Like the beat, the cadence of the beat is the pulling of a trigger and then shooting. Produced by Dr. Dre. And then on his Massacre album, he has the song with Eminem, Gat Man and Robin. Gat Man, because he's the man with the gat and shooting people. And then on that same album, the Massacre, he has the song In My Hood, where he's saying, niggas screw their face up at me on some real shit, son. They don't want beef. I cocked that, aimed that shit out the window, and sprayed till ain't a shell left in my heat. So I'm just having a difficult time reconciling his comments with his music. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing, man. And I know a lot of people there's going to be people who see this video and they'll leave comments talking about good things 50 Cent has done in the community and, positive things that he's done and all of this. Look, man, we no longer recognize that there's a delineation between real life and the art that is this music. We have sort of conflated the two to be the same thing. There's no longer a degree of separation. We believe that these individuals are living out their lyrics. Now, smart people know better. Smart people know that none of this stuff is real and that it's all put on. It's all a show. These guys are not really out here being kingpins and committing crimes like that, getting people killed and stuff. Not for real. Or at least not in 50 Cent's generation. Mm-hmm. And I think we talk about this with Fat Joe. Remember when Fat Joe said he's lied in 95% of his raps? Mm-hmm. When he was defending, who was he defending?
Young Thug, I think.
There you go. Yeah. When he said that, he's lied in 95% of his raps. And my point was, okay, yeah, that may be true. But when you were in your heyday making the songs, your intent behind the music was for people to believe you.
Correct.
So whether 50 Cent is telling the truth or lying, his intent behind a lot of his music, especially when he was at his peak, his intent was for you to believe in the authenticity behind the lyrics. And so now in retrospect, it's kind of interesting that you're coming out saying that the violence needs to stop when you were largely a perpetrator of this type of activity through the music that you put out, where your intent was for people to believe you. Mm-hmm. The reality of that notwithstanding. So, I don't understand this stuff. Like, these people really are trying to have their cake and eat it too, man. They're trying to have it go both ways. They want to be able to make this stuff and pump it out into the streets and have everybody consume it and listen to it. But then on the backside, they want to be able to say, hey, man, we need to do better and we need to stop this stuff. Well, which is it? I'm confused. Help me understand, which is it? Which is it? And the thing is, what he needs to do, and other people like him, is he needs to come out and he needs to publicly say, hey, look, all those times when I spent all those years making those songs, I was being an entertainer. I was not telling the truth. I was lying. That was my musical persona. I'm really I'm really a family oriented dude who wants to raise his son or raise his kids and be a law abiding citizen who does the right thing. My music was my music, but this is who I am now. Like, people like him need to just come out here with that, with those kinds of disclaimers,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise you look like somebody who is bordering on hypocrite to be making that stuff that you made for all those years and then make comments like this. It just, I'm confused behind it. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, man. People really want to be able to have it both ways. They don't want you to call them out on hypocrisy, because then you're just being a hater, I guess. But I don't understand it. I like consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I thrive off of things that make sense and consistency. And when you can make the music peddling this stuff for years, from 2003 all the way up until he ceased to be like more active as a rapper, he was
Mm-hmm.
doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can make these kinds of posts and put this kind of stuff out there. Like, I get it, because in your heart of hearts, it's not a good thing. But you also have to understand or realize or take accountability, responsibility for your role in the perpetuation of some of these narratives and tropes, because you did play a hand in that. At the very least, you should acknowledge that. If you're not going to come out with the disclaimer that that wasn't really your real life and that was just your musical persona, at least cop to that part. At least do that much. At least you owe the people that much. If you're going to make these kinds of comments, if you stay silent and don't say stuff like this, then that's perfectly fine. You can just live within the guise that you really are Gat Man and you really are doing this heat and all of this other stuff that you be talking about. But when you're going to come out and make these statements, being morally righteous, engaging in all of this righteous indignation, then, man, you at least have to acknowledge the past. You got to say something.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just have it both ways. And I largely find that these entertainer types really just want to have it both ways.
I didn't even know that was a narrative that, oh, well, he helps out in his community.
No, no, no. I don't know that it is. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know
about to
that it
say.
is. I'm just saying people who know more about what 50 Cent does in the community, if
That's
that is, if he does do things in the community, they may want
which
to
I'm sure he
bring that
does.
up. They
Yeah,
may
which
want to
I'm
bring that up. Yeah.
yeah, which I'm sure he does. It's because it's a write off. You better be doing that. You know. But and my rebuttal to anybody that would feel that way though, and it's just I mean it's no knock on the people that he is impacting, because that is significant. But there's more people who get impacted by his entertainment. And if he really wanted to have an impact, then he would change his form of entertainment. And then it would change the output of the viewers. But right now, the only thing he's putting in the brains of these people is prison, guns, organized crime, not so organized crime, snitching, all kinds of nefarious things. So when you keep putting all of that stuff in the bucket of somebody's brain, what do you think the output's going to be? Now, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are fans of the whole series. All of his audio, never did a crime. Proud of you. I'm talking about the young kids or the impressionable people, which is the masses who consume this stuff. So, a greater impact, instead of just making a post about it, it would be making a form of mind control to make them think differently, because you give them mind control to make them think the same. So if you want to change the output of the community, if this headline is what actually caught your attention, then I would try to put that effort into your works and not a post. I'm pretty sure that post got covered up with some other type of making fun of somebody else. And I love 50's online persona. It is hilarious.
Yeah,
I
he's
enjoy
funny,
that more than
man.
his music.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
a sideshow. I love it. I can't stand the shows. You know, but I can't deal with the hypocrisy. So I agree, 50. But hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Tell your homeboy to tell us that. Well, I don't want to hear it coming from you, dog.
Yeah, these people really want to have it both ways. And when I was reading through some of the comments when we did the video where he was upset because Raising Kanan wasn't nominated for an NAACP Image Award. And there was a person who left a comment on that video that was like, here are a couple of shows that he produced that are positive. And, point taken. But the amount of shows that he does juxtaposed to that are the opposite far exceed the positive shows that he does.
Correct.
So to your point, I still would kind of fall on your side when it comes to the mind control that he puts into the world through his entertainment endeavors. Because apparently there was a show called For Life that he was behind
Oh,
that
yeah, I
was
seen
more
that.
that was more on the positive side.
Mm,
But I mean, that's one show compared to how many different powers,
correct.
you
And it was
know?
stationed. And it was stationed in prison.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
that's
Yeah,
one of the buckets again.
it still had a theme of prison, correct?
Yeah, I'm not playing.
But
No,
yeah, I
that
mean,
don't count.
yeah, the myriad of power shows and the BMF show aren't enough to like that one show isn't enough to offset all those other ones. To your point about the mind control, so I hear
Correct.
that, and I'm inclined to agree with you on that front.
Mm.
I just people need to take more accountability, more responsibility. It's just people, echo chambers are so powerful. These individuals live in their echo chambers and they get to hear the sound of their own voice and they get to hear their speech parroted back to them by the yes people that are around them so much that they don't even understand the weight that their words bear from an accountability standpoint to the rest of the world. And these types of comments scream that. And I maybe I don't know. Maybe he'll figure that out, and others like him will figure that out. But I just think these kinds of comments are ironic, to say the least, man.
Right.
These people really do want to have it both ways.
And one thing you guys can do is have it both ways as well. If you click the like and the subscribe, so make sure you guys follow the conscious approach.
Yeah, yeah. Shouts out to 50, man.
Yeah.
He is funny with his social media posts, though.
Nah, I
Yeah,
love
his
it.
Diddy trolls are hilarious.
Right.